A week before the wedding, I was in a car accident. The baby didn't survive. My uterus was removed. I completely lost my chance to be a mother. I was devastated by my grief. Just as I was losing my mind, I heard Ryan on the phone. Ryan, you put Emily on birth control. You lied to her about having her uterus removed. That's pretty cruel. Ryan's tone was cold. My child with Sophia can't be illegitimate. It's the only way. That child can be legally in my name for Emily. I intend to spend the rest of my life making it up to her. Suddenly, I felt a wave of dizziness. I've been in a deep state of grief over the loss of my child. I'd been in a deep state of grief. I couldn't get out of it. I had no idea. It was all a conspiracy, and it was aimed at me from the beginning. I was told, "You don't have to worry too much. The test report will come out just like I said. The wedding will go on as usual. Sophia and her look like sisters anyway. No one will be able to tell who they are in their wedding gowns. This will fulfill Sophia's dream of marrying me, and I'll get the baby back. Emily will be very grateful. She'll treat him as if he were her own." The other end of the line sighed. "Ryan, I hope you don't regret it. If Emily finds out, she'll never forgive you." "She won't." Ryan turned around. He touched my eyebrows and my eyes. Then he said, "I'm all she has. She couldn't leave," he added. "And be careful with that driver's death certificate. I don't want any trouble." Ryan put down the phone, stood by the bed and stared at me for a while, before slowly walking away, waiting to feel his gaze move away. I couldn't help but open my eyes. My heart was in turmoil. "Ryan, you've gone to a lot of trouble for Sophia. This time, I'll make you two happy." 3 days later, while Ryan was busy preparing for the wedding, I quietly left the hospital. I went to another hospital for tests, confirmed that I'm still fertile. The hysterectomy was a joke. On the way home, my cell phone rang. "Emily, where have you been?" Ryan gasped on the other end of the line. He sounded anxious. "I was out for a walk. It's too stuffy in the house. I'll be right back. Give me the address. I'll pick you up." I hesitated. I sent him the location. 10 minutes later, Ryan drove up. As soon as he saw me, he immediately hugged me tightly. At that moment, someone shouted from behind, "Ryan, Emily." My whole body suddenly shook. It was Sophia. My sister and I are half-sisters. Her mom broke up my family. She became the one Ryan had in mind. Ryan dropped me immediately. He ran to her and said, "It's so windy. Why did you come out? I'm not that weak." The two of them were flirting without a care in the world. Sophia suddenly covered her mouth. "Oops, I forgot that Emily is still here." She leaned into Ryan's arms. "She won't leave." It was then that Ryan saw me. He was about to say something. I opened the door. There was a child's seat in the back seat. I couldn't help but laugh. "What's this, Sister Emily? Ryan said you couldn't have children. So you adopted a child. These are for the baby." Ryan went on to say, "Emily, I've thought it over. It's too risky. I don't want to have a baby. This baby. You're gonna love it." I didn't say anything. Got in the car quietly. Sophia tugged at Ryan. "Brother Ryan, I get carsick easily. Can I let Emily sit in the back?" I looked at Ryan and said, "I don't feel comfortable either." Sophia has tears in her eyes. She said to Ryan, "Ryan, leave me alone. Take care of Emily's health first. I'll be fine. Emily, you can sit in the back. Sophia's not feeling well. I don't see anything wrong with her. Look at me standing still." Ryan took my arm. "Emily, you need to behave." He pulled me out of the car. I was defenseless. I slammed into the door. Tears fell from my eyes in pain. Sophia was carefully helped into the car. He got into the car without even looking at me. I slowly moved into the car, holding back the pain. Only then did Sophia look back at me, with a hint of provocation in his eyes. She said, "Emily, I'm sorry, it's all my fault," Ryan said. "Don't be too delicate when you're a mom. You have to be strong from now on. Otherwise, how can you take care of the baby?" There was a flash of sadness in my eyes. "My child is gone, and you're counting on me to raise yours. It's really unashamed." I was silent, staring blankly out the window. Sophia asked relentlessly, "Emily, sis, did I say something wrong? Why are you ignoring me?" Ryan waited at the stoplight. His face doesn't look good. He asked Emily, "What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?" Apologized to Sophia. "How can I trust you to take care of the baby? How can I trust you to take care of the baby?" Sophia's eyes are full of triumph. "Ryan, don't blame your sister. It's all my fault. I'd better get off. I'll get out of the car." "Okay, get out of the car. Your perfume is too strong. I can't stand it." Her eyes immediately reddened at my words. Ryan shouted angrily, "Emily." I sat in the back. I was sitting in the back. "I'm the patient here. You're asking me to take care of the baby. Did you ask my opinion? How can my body cope? Ryan listened. He softened his tone. Forget it. Let's talk about it when you're better. Sophia suddenly covered her stomach and said, Brother Ryan, I am dizzy. Can you take me to the hospital? Ryan looked ahead. He didn't care what I thought. He immediately turned the steering wheel. He drove straight to the hospital. When he got to the door, he hugged Sophia and got out of the car. Suddenly thought of something, turned his head and looked at me and said, Sophia is not well. I have to take her to the doctor first. I'm fine. I can take a taxi by myself, you go on. He froze at my answer, but he didn't think much of it. Rushed through the door. Sophia looks at me, a hint of scorn on her face. I turned around, called Aunt. The voice on the other end of the phone immediately raised. The Smith family thinks we have no one in the Johnson family. Emily, don't you worry. Aunt will help you organize everything. Aunt supports me. I feel more at ease. I took a taxi home alone. I packed up all my things in the villa. Traces of Sophia could be seen everywhere. Sophia's mom was so angry that my mom died. The funeral was not yet finished. They moved into my house. My nominal father kicked me out of the house. My mom and I changed our last name to Johnson. Then I met Ryan. I told him about it. Ryan held me close. He was so sad. He said he'd be good to me forever. But then he met Sophia. I remember very clearly that day when Ryan came home. He was so excited. He said, Emily, you know what? I saw that little girl again. It was destiny. He had his heart set on Sophia. But Sophia's mom broke up my family. She has a bad reputation. The Smith family would never let a woman like that in their house. Ryan used me for her. He used me. I was so wrong about people. I threw away what I could. Gave away what I could. In the end, only the luggage I brought in the first place was left. I took a deep breath. Looked at my cell phone. Inside was the final program from the wedding planner. The message read, Emtikes Emily, changing the flowers to champagne roses for this wedding. Are you sure? In the beginning, I chose lilies. Champagne roses are Sophia's favorite. In the old days, I would have questioned Ryan. But now it doesn't matter. Ryan will take care of the wedding. You don't have to ask me again. The wedding planner froze. There was a long silence before he spoke. Emtikes Emily, no matter what, you must be happy. A wedding planner I just met gave me her blessing, but the person lying beside me, is counting me behind my back. I can only laugh bitterly. Ryan came back at night, found a lot of things missing in my room, frowned and asked, Why is there so much missing? Where are you going? He stared at my suitcase, couldn't hide the tension in his eyes. I pretended to say as if nothing had happened, We're getting married. All this stuff needs to be replaced. I'll just throw them away. Hearing this, Ryan put his heart down. He said, I'll bring the kids in a couple days. You guys meet first, cultivate feelings early. Okay, but I'm not well. Let's hire a babysitter. Ryan's a little upset. The baby's still young. It's the time to bond with mom if you hire a nanny. What if they don't get close to you? Emily, you know how it is. Mom and dad are upset that you can't have children. It took me a lot of effort to convince them. You have to pay more attention to the kids. You have to pay more attention to it. He arranged everything without saying a word. For Sophia, he doesn't care about my health. He even asked me to help him raise his son. I laughed in my heart. On the other hand, I said, 2 days later, the wedding is coming up. I'll do it. I'll take care of the wedding. You stay home and take care of the kids. I understand. I don't even have to go to the wedding. I'll be tethered to the kids. Ryan, you've got a way about you. I nodded. I nod my head. Okay, I'll do it. I'm all yours. He doesn't hesitate to undo his tie, says to me, Emily, I'm doing this for you. You have to be good. We'll have a good life from now on. I didn't say a word. I walked past him, straight into the bedroom. Let me through. No way. Not in this lifetime. Ryan was just about to follow. The phone suddenly rang. Sophia's delicate voice came from the other end of the line. Brother Ryan, come here quickly. The baby keeps crying and refuses to drink milk. I can't handle it anymore. Her cries and the baby's cries came through the cell phone. I couldn't help but laugh. Ryan said into the phone, Good, I'll be right there. He turns to me. Emily, there's something going on with Sophia. I'll go check it out now. You wait for me at home. Also, the baby may come later. Get ready. Ryan listened to the reply, immediately turned around and ran outside, in a hurry to get the baby here. He had just left. Sophia's message came, Emily, you'll never beat me. All I had to do was call. Ryan would be here in a heartbeat. You don't have a uterus. You won't get his love. You're just gonna have to stay home and babysit. I printed out these chats, tucked them into the nightstand. Ryan came back soon. With the baby. The baby was 6 months old, looks innocent, but when I saw the face that resembled Sophia's, I couldn't help but think of my own baby. My hand unconsciously placed on my belly. My heart hurts like it's being torn apart. Ryan took the baby in his arms, teasing gently, tenderness on his face. As soon as he looked up and saw me, immediately called me over. I didn't like it in my heart. I didn't take it. Emily, you hold him. I won't. My coldness made Ryan's face harden. Emily, how could you? Don't be a jerk. Ryan, Emily, no matter how bad I am, I'm not going to be a stepmom. I'm not going to be a stepmom. Besides, a bastard can never be seen in the light of day, just like his mom. No shame. My words froze him for a moment. He raised his hand and slapped me. Half of my face immediately went numb with pain. Emily, what are you talking about? I threw it back with all my strength. The force was so strong that Ryan could barely stand. He rushed to protect the child in his arms. I asked with a sneer, my heart hurts. You know in your heart that I'm not bullshitting. How did this baby come to be? Ryan, you and Sophia's child for me to raise, you deserve it. At the sound of that, Ryan's body trembled. There was panic in his eyes. I went on. I'm pregnant with your child. It's been 2 months. You killed him. Ryan, I will never forgive you in my life. Ryan's expression changed. He stared at me. His eyes became tense. His whole body froze. I understood everything. Ryan, you asked me to help you raise someone else's child. You wanted everything. You're protecting Sophia's heart. She couldn't get married, and you're trying to get it out of me? I won't do it. Ryan grabbed me violently by the neck. In a stern voice, don't you dare. Before he could finish his sentence, the child in his arms suddenly cried out. He immediately let go of his hand, whispered, I won't let you go. You take care of your body at ease. Mrs. Smith can only be you. I just organized a wedding for Sophia, fulfilled her wish. In the future, I won't have any contact with her. Now, he's still daydreaming there. I can't help but laugh. Ryan, when you chose her, you should have known. I don't have a blind spot in my eye, no matter what you think. This is non-negotiable. He waved his hand. A dozen bodyguards rushed in. They forced me into the room. He locked me up. Ryan thought that would make me give in. How naive. After Ryan and I fell out, he came after me every day. Where did he send the kids? I don't know. Anyway, I'm just trying to get some peace and quiet. No matter what he said, I ignored him. Ryan finally gave in. Emily, do we have to do this? You and Sophia are sisters. You shut up, Ryan. Ryan, I was shaking all over. You know how Sophia and I are, sisters. She deserves it. If you really like her, give her a big wedding. Marry her fair and square. You can't fight the Smith family for her and let me suffer the consequences. You're so disgusting. Ryan's looking grim. No matter what you say, I've made up my mind. Mrs. Smith's place will always be reserved for you. He paused. After the wedding, we'll have a good time. I didn't say a word. He thinks I'm taking advantage of him. That's ridiculous. I simply closed my eyes. I didn't say anything. Rest quietly. He's getting married soon. He's been especially busy lately. But there are always a lot of people out there. The day of the wedding, Ryan got up early in the morning. I was having porridge at the table. He was wearing a fancy suit, reached out to touch my face. I ducked. I stared at him. The corners of his mouth lifted. Today is your big day. Touch me. If Sophia finds out, it's going to be a big deal again for sure. He responded. Don't worry. I'll be back as soon as the ceremony is over. It's just a formality. Don't be in a hurry. It's once in a lifetime. My words stung him. He suppressed his anger, fists clenched. The veins on the back of his hands bulged. After a while, only then did he stifle a sentence. Wait for me to come back. He looked back at me on his way out. I was expressionless. I didn't even look at him. When he was gone, the bodyguards around the villa were still there, but it was obviously a lot more lax. Everyone thought things were settled. When the wedding is over, everything will be settled. I looked outside, smiled slightly. Less than half an hour, the villa suddenly caught fire. The bodyguards rushed in on their hands and knees to put out the fire. In the midst of the chaos, I was escorted out by a team of men. At the airport, I sent a message to Sophia. You'll never get away with it. It's true that I don't have the same place in his heart as Sophia, but only if I'm there for him. If I'm not there, even the most beautiful moonlight will turn into tiresome mosquito blood. I'm destined to be the one thing he can't let go of. Before leaving, I took another look at the villa with black smoke, then decisively got into the car on the other side. Ryan's heart suddenly tightened. It felt as if something important had quietly disappeared from his side. He covered his chest, with a trace of panic on his face. Not far away in the dressing room, Sophia was sitting in front of the mirror wearing a white wedding dress, smiling. Her mother Megan stood next to her, seeing her daughter's appearance. Megan was especially happy in her heart, thinking to herself, "My daughter is still great. Emily and her mom are no match for us. This Smith family is really too much. It's all my fault. Let you suffer." Sophia held her hand tightly and said, "Mom, it's okay, it's okay. It's nothing, as long as I can hold on to Ryan's heart. I'll be his only wife. As for Emily, she's just a free babysitter for my kids. That's right, you have to hold on to Ryan's heart. Don't let him get away with anything. He's too good. He can't let those women fool him. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing." "That's right. What time is it now? Why hasn't it started yet?" Sophia sees outside. Can't help but take out her cell phone. As soon as she opened it, she saw a message. She was instantly furious. "Emily, you wait for me." She hurriedly made up her makeup. She hurriedly went to find Ryan. At this moment, Ryan took out his cell phone. Ryan took out his cell phone. Ryan took out his cell phone and dialed the number he knew by heart. But there was no answer. He was getting anxious. He called the villa again, still no answer. "Where's the man?" The secretary came rushing in. "Mr. Smith, something's happened. The villa's on fire." "What?" Ryan asked. He asked, "Where's Emily?" He answered, "No luck." "What do you mean, not found, dead or alive?" "She must be brought back to me at once." Sophia's voice comes from behind. "What happened to Ryan?" "The villa's on fire. Emily's sister must be fine." Sophia looks at his anxious face. In her heart, she can't help but feel a little dissatisfied. She handed over her cell phone. She said, "This is the message she sent me. It must be that she is jealous, hiding on purpose." Ryan looks at the message on his phone, shakes his head and says, "It can't be. I have a feeling it's not that simple. Quickly check, find out where the hell she went right now." He was about to leave. Sophia rushed to hold his hand. Ryan, where are you going? Our wedding is about to start." Ryan stops in his tracks, turns his head to look at her, takes a deep breath. Just then, he received an automated email on his cell phone inbox. Ryan read it. Eyes became stern. Sophia was shocked by his look. With a trembling voice, she asked, "Brother Ryan, what's wrong with you?" Ryan said angrily. "Sophia, you act weak in front of me. You act weak in front of me, but you are so strong in front of Emily. What kind of person are you?" Sophia is in tears. It used to hurt Ryan's heart, but now he just wants to find Emily. He pushes Sophia away. He rushes out the door. Sophia lifts up her dress and yells after him, "Ryan, it's our wedding day. Ryan, don't go." Ryan just wants to find Emily. The hall is packed with guests. Mr. Smith and Mrs. Smith are standing in front of them. When they see Ryan, immediately stops him. "Ryan, where are you going?" "I'm looking for Emily. I'm looking for Emily." Sophia came in a hurry. She was wearing a white dress. At first glance, she looks similar to Emily, but Ryan recognized it right away. She is definitely not Emily. Emily is not here. She is Sophia. The wedding is canceled. Sophia looks surprised. "Cancel it, Ryan. Ryan, don't do this." She's holding on to Ryan's arm. She keeps begging him. Ryan turned his head. He said sternly, "Sophia, you should understand. This wedding is just to fulfill a dream of yours. You're still using the name Emily." He continued, "There will only ever be one wife for me, Ryan, but it's never going to be you." After hearing that, Sophia's face instantly turned pale. The belief in her heart completely collapsed. She lost control and grabbed Ryan's tie, questioned him. "What, Mrs. Ryan? Ryan, we even have a child. And now you're saying this to me. Are you still human?" Mr. Smith and Mrs. Smith were shocked. Ryan, what does she mean by children? What are you talking about?" The scene was instantly chaotic. Ryan was surrounded by people. All the guests witnessed this. There's a lot of chatter. Meanwhile, the plane has arrived at the other side of the ocean. I finally saw Aunt, who I hadn't seen in a long time. I immediately rushed up and hugged her. Aunt hugged me and said, "Don't cry. Good boy. Let's go to the surgery right away. That Ryan is really too much," she said again. I should have known. I shouldn't have ignored it. Let your dad and that woman keep bullying you. I calmed down, looked at Aunt and shook my head. "It's okay, Aunt. Aunt, look, I'm here." Aunt took me to the hospital. She took out the contraceptive threads and gave me a thorough examination. He also gave me a full checkup. After seeing the diagnostic report, she was particularly distressed. She said, "You haven't had a good rest since the accident. Now come to me. Be sure to rest your body. Don't worry about the past." I nodded frequently. Before boarding the plane, I had taken out the cell phone card and snapped it, threw it into the trash. From that moment on, I was completely disconnected from that side. However, even while abroad, Ryan's news still reaches my ears occasionally. He canceled the wedding, looking for me everywhere. The Smith family house was on fire. By the time Ryan got back, I was completely gone. He called the police, saw me leave in a car through the CCTV. That's when he realized that my calmness those few days was premeditated. Ryan couldn't find me. He went crazy with anxiety. No matter how much Sophia begged him, he wouldn't turn back. After Mr. and Mrs. Smith found out that Ryan and Sophia had a son, the previous dissatisfaction became even more obvious. But in the end, they didn't agree to let Sophia in. I had expected this. The Smith family didn't like Sophia at first, thought she was a bad person. They would never let her into the Smith family. Even me. Even I am not the most suitable candidate in their eyes. Now Sophia is unmarried and pregnant, and she wants to take over my wedding. They don't even like her. How can they let her in? As for Ryan, forget it. I don't care about him anymore. Aunt hired a nanny for me. She made soup for me every day. 3 months later, I slowly recovered. I planned to resume my old career here. I originally studied dance. I was supposed to go to a dance academy. Then I met Ryan, and because of the pregnancy and the car accident, everything was delayed. Now that I'm free, I'm going to start dancing again. Aunt enrolled me in a dance school. I practiced every day. It was tiring but fulfilling. I didn't expect Ryan to find me. He's amazing. He even found out my school. As soon as he saw me, he got out of the car and rushed over. He pushed the student next to me and almost fell down. I was so scared. Rushed to push Ryan away. Are you crazy? He's my classmate. Why are you hitting him here? Ryan's eyes turned red. Emily, come home with me. I'm not married to Sophia. I didn't marry Sophia. That's when I realized. You're the one I love the most. It just makes me sick to my stomach. Come with me, please. He grabbed my wrist tightly. He rubbed my hand against his face. I've been looking for you for 3 months. I thought about you every day. Emily, can you forgive me? I took back my hand. I looked at him coldly. Ryan, don't pretend you love me. You planned the accident. You made it look like I had my uterus removed. I have you to thank for that. If you hadn't been so sure I wouldn't wake up and said those things in front of me and made that phone call, I wouldn't have even thought about leaving you. Ryan heard me say that. He panicked. No, 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 no. It's not like that. Let me explain. I was fooled before. Now I understand. I stopped and looked at him. Ryan, if you admit it was your fault, I might even change my mind about you. Ryan was speechless for a moment. He opened his mouth to say something. I shook my head. Don't say anything. It's over between us. We'll be fine. You have a good life with Sophia and the kids. And please let me go free. We don't owe each other anything. Ryan clearly doesn't agree. He stared in the direction I'd left, clenched his fists. I didn't think he'd run right across the street from my house. Aunt knew he was coming, gnashing her teeth in anger. I couldn't wait to get rid of him. I persuaded Aunt, don't bother with him. This is abroad. He has to consider the consequences of what he wants to do. He's only staying here to pester me. He won't stay long. I sent Ryan's current address and his photo to Sophia. I'm sure Sophia will be here soon. Ryan won't be here much longer. Ryan insisted on taking me back. He came every day to apologize and admit he was wrong. He sends the same flowers all the time. Even my new friends are getting envious. They're asking, Emily, is that your boyfriend? He's after you. He's really handsome. Do you like him? I'll leave if I don't, I shrugged. He's not a good guy, just a scumbag. My friends were surprised. I ignored it too. I organized everything he sent. Returned it as is. He didn't give up, but it only lasted a week. Sophia came. She finally arrived. As soon as I saw Sophia, I realized Ryan would never get rid of her. I watched as Sophia took a couple of guys with her. She clenched her fists and turned on Ryan. The camera in her hand kept snapping at him. Ryan's face was red with anger. Both sides almost came to blows. In the end, he walked away. I breathed a sigh of relief. It's good that he's gone. Ryan stood in front of my house the day he left. He wanted to see me, but I never said yes. A meeting was out of the question. I just want them to go back. Leave me alone. Ryan waited for me all day. I didn't go out either. In the end, it was Sophia who couldn't resist pulling him away. Ryan stumbled away. I didn't say a word. This time it should be over for good. After 3 years abroad, I returned to the stage, won the audience's unanimous approval. The dance troupe decided to return home to develop the market. 3 years later, when I set foot on this familiar land again, I was still a little apprehensive. Aunt accompanied me, seeing me like this. She gently patted the back of my hand, said, "What's coming will always come. Don't be afraid. No matter what happens, I will be by your side. I smiled at Aunt. Of course I'm here to dance and perform. Of course I'm here to dance and perform. Aunt nodded her head, seeing that I'm so open-minded. She was also relieved. The posters of our dance troupe soon appeared on the streets. The troupe is famous abroad. It's just as popular back home. Tickets are hard to come by. Some netizens left messages under my Weibo, hoping that I could raffle off the tickets. They said, "Sister, please give me a chance. As the top dancer in the country, you're doing your country a favor by performing abroad. Let's enjoy your beautiful dance together." I was amused by them and couldn't stop laughing. Was about to apply for benefits. Suddenly saw a comment pop up below. What's the big deal? A divorced woman who lost her child in a car accident. What's the point of dancing well? Who knows how many men she's been with? To climb to today's chief position. See this message. I immediately clicked on the avatar. It's actually Sophia. Sophia, you're still the same. Because of this comment, my past was unearthed. Many netizens are surprised to say, so you're the original spouse of that unlucky wife. I see. 2 sisters robbed a man. The bride fled abroad. The groom canceled the wedding, so it was you. Why did you run away from the wedding? Is it because you want a new man? The ugly words kept coming back to me. I looked at my cell phone, contacted the lawyer, asked him to help me collect all the evidence and deal with this matter. I've lived abroad for so many years. Also understand the domestic network environment. Since Sophia wants to be famous, I'll give her a chance and teach Ryan a lesson. He can't control his own woman. He can't control his own woman, so don't blame others to do it for him. Sure enough, Sophia quickly deleted the comment, probably because she was afraid that it would become a big deal. But it was already too late, because my identity and hers were soon exposed by the netizens. Even novels don't dare to make it up like this. They are actually sisters. This is the feud between the gentry. So bloody and exciting gossip. Who doesn't want to know? Come on, let's go on air. I'll give you gifts. Sophia was scared, but it's already too late. We've called the police and decided to hold her responsible. Her call was transferred to me. I just got through. I heard her yelling, "Emily, do you have to force me to die? You're in the limelight now. You're a principal dancer, and you're here to perform. Why do you still want to fuck with me? I'm just telling the truth. I'm just telling the truth." I couldn't help laughing. The truth? Sophia, you didn't think I'd let you get me down, did you? Even if it is the truth. It's not what you wrote on the internet. You're going to jail. That's right. You've already given birth. It's too late to get pregnant again. I wonder if Ryan would be willing to help you with all this. I'm hanging up. No need to think. She must be furious. But there's nothing that can be done in my current position. She can't compete with me. It's up to Ryan to help her clear her name. However, Ryan moved faster than I thought. The training had just ended. I found someone waiting for me outside. Emily, long time no see. The training clothes hadn't been changed yet. Her tights were wrapped around her slender limbs. She was standing in front of Ryan. The emotion in his eyes was undisguised. I'm good looking. I'm confident of that. He wouldn't have liked me otherwise. It's just the looks, in front of Sophia's green tea and acting skills. It seems a bit powerless, seeing him now. I immediately recalled the scene 3 years ago when he killed my child. Couldn't help but frown. Ryan rushed over and asked, "Emily, what's wrong with you? Tell me. Let me help you." He came over and tried to help me. I immediately felt sick. I shook off his hand. I took a step back to avoid him. "Ryan, you're not a central air conditioner. You can't warm everyone's heart. You're in that position. You're in a position to do your job. If I didn't want to admit it, you'd probably still be calling me sister." Ryan grimaced at my words. It took a few seconds for it to ease up. He smiled and said, "Whatever you say, I'll just take it as you caring about what Sophia said. I'll support you fully. Teach her some lessons. You'd better do what you say you're going to do." He keeps nodding. "Don't you worry. I'm sure I won't let her do anything stupid again. This time I'm here to apologize, Emily. I'm so sorry. Ryan wants to buy me dinner. That's a lot of apologizing to do. I didn't want anything to do with him, so I just turned it down. Aunt's bodyguard got me a direct line to him. He could only watch me go. Seemed a bit reluctant. I'm not sure what method he used." Sophia quickly apologized to me publicly on social media platforms, watching the couple play everyone for a fool online. I took a deep breath, decided to leave them alone, but my generosity gave Ryan a misunderstanding. He actually bought a ticket to see my show too. I caught a glimpse of Ryan sitting on stage from backstage. He was wearing a suit. He was wearing a suit and sitting up straight. He looked very expectant. I shook my head. He's here. There was nothing I could do. I can only perform as I'm told, spinning and jumping to the music. At that moment, I was completely empty. Dancing makes me forget everything. I thought of only one thing and kept on dancing in that moment. I felt like I was shining on stage. It was like I was the only star of the show. Ryan looked at me a little strange when I finished dancing. He came over with a bouquet of flowers to congratulate me. Seeing this scene, I couldn't help but laugh. Ryan, he heard me calling him. He nodded his head. I'm here. Emily. Emily. I didn't realize you were still so beautiful. I know. If I hadn't seen through you, I'd have stayed home and helped you with the kids. I wouldn't have had the chance to start over. I spoke calmly. Ryan's face is turning pale. He was just about to speak. Emily, me. I cut him off. Ryan, this is the end of our feud. We're strangers to each other. Don't let me see you again. As soon as I said that, he immediately became agitated. He wanted to rush over. I stopped him. Sophia and the kids are waiting for you at home. Don't do anything stupid. I spoke sternly. Ryan listened. Silently stepped aside. He understands. I won't forgive him. I didn't say anything about what happened back then, just wanted to give him a chance to change his ways. But that doesn't mean I wasn't prepared for something else. Ryan didn't catch up in the end. I left with Aunt by my side. The show did well. The market response made the troupe happy. We had to go to other cities to continue the show. Aunt took me all over the country. Everywhere we went, I would receive a big bouquet of flowers from a mysterious person, wishing me well for the show. No need to guess. I knew it was from Ryan. I didn't refuse, gave all the flowers to the audience. It wasn't long after that. The news about Ryan and Sophia slowly reached my ears. At the last stop in the country, I saw the news. Ryan had hit Sophia with his car. She was left paraplegic. She'll be in bed for the rest of her life. He sent the baby to Sophia's house to be raised by my broke father. Ryan was caught red-handed by the police. He was sentenced to life in prison. I was relieved to see the news. I was relieved, thinking everything was for the best. I'm going back to that best stage too, continue to chase my dream.